I took a lot of notes on last year's April summit, and it was primarily, I think, it was day one. And I did it all virtual. Like I have it saved because I didn't get to definitely sit through the whole 2 days. But yours with transformation, and just the cocoon, the butterfly. I will, and you might know this, that I'm going to do a presentation next
Yeah,
week.
that's why I was excited. That's why I was going to ask you. Are you ready?
Um, I don't know if I'm ready. You know,
Yes, you are.
okay, yes.
You are ready.
I,
You'll dance it out and you'll get in the groove and you'll be just good. Yep.
thank you. Some of what I am honing in on, I mean, I'm trying to find like the root of, where I've started, like what kickstarted my soul searching, like for me to really kind of refocus and
Hmm.
remembering like the basics, of how to live right, and you were one of the huge catalysts, just with the whole move your body. And I still to this day, I mean, that's my medicine. I kind of say I have to do it every day, to some degree. In music, like I dive into that. But the transformation,
Music's huge for me.
yeah. And it's that vibe that, it's like sometimes it's just what the universe puts on the radio. And I'm like, oh, this is totally meant to be. Like I need to hear this.
Yep.
I need this beat. Um, that transformation, or maybe this is a little bit of sneak peek. I don't know how much I'm going to dive into it, but I am definitely somebody who, I think I got caught up in the idea that, when I was going to turn 40, I was going to like wake up on my birthday and be this, confident, happy, fulfilled woman. And no, the idea, it definitely sat with me like, oh, I'm 40 now, like I could own it, like it's a milestone, yeah, like.
Yep.
But then when 45 came this last April, I was kind of, I don't know, a different mindset. And maybe too, I've evolved a bit. But the transformation to know that it's not just going to be this immediate, like, whoop, I'm 45, I got this.
Yeah. But don't you kind of feel like that different parts of us transform at different spot at different times? Like or at least for me, it might be because I was home for 5 years, but like your heart develops, your levels of love and appreciation for people develop at a different level and a different age. And then your mindset and your brain and like different things develop at different times. Does that make sense? And then there's a season for like your body to like transform, because typically if your body's going to transform, you have to do your head and your heart together in order for your body to transform. So
Yeah,
you said like 40 and 45 is different, so it should be interesting what your next transformation is and what you're going into. And that's why you're refreshing this last year. And then when you're
oh, you went back on mute.
oh, that was weird. And then after you do your presentation, you're going to feel like you're at a different transformation level.
Yeah. But you're right, that
And then
alignment.
you have pivot points. Like when I'm at a low right now, I use that as an anchor. Like, remember that day that you did this and how good it felt in your brain and your body and in your heart. Like, I like really anchor into those things. So you use those like pinpoints to keep going too, which is nice that you can do that with the power of your brain and your heart if you really take time to be present during those fun things.
That's the growth. And I get it. The growing, like last night I was trying to explain to my husband, how I want to hit on certain components and the experiences, like focusing on making new experiences, diving into something new, learning something, but also feeling through new experiences, good and bad,
Hmm.
and how they're shaping me, to just sit with it. And you guys have all, OP's really helped me, learn, that that's good. Like I
Hmm.
need it. It's needed.
Well, yeah, you know, you don't always have to have that high feeling when people ask.
Yeah,
That's something that I've learned. I'm always try to be positive, but like sometimes too, it's hard if you're always a positive person to acknowledge and allow yourself to feel those and then not just, oh, that's a negative feeling. Poof. Like it's okay to sit with it for a little bit, honor it, and then leave it.
yeah. I'm going to use that. I'm going to borrow that, sit, honor it. Because, you know, and I've had moments with that. I think with so many things, like I think, well, this wasn't the first time that I tried this out. You know, like I've applied courage in my life before. Like think of some of the accomplishments. But then maybe I did that, focused on it, and then like maybe it got satisfying and then I just kind of cruised past
Hmm.
it. And then
And sometimes too, it goes away because it's a challenge. So it disappears really fast and you have to remember to revisit it.
yeah, that's I like that revisit. I'm gonna make some notes here, lady. I already took you past 10 after. So
Oh,
I will,
sounds good.
but thank you. Let me hit pause here. We can anything that you want to mastermind around or just to kind of reset,
Hmm,
realign for the week.
I don't think so. It's my Monday, so it's refreshed.
Yes, for sure. You got this.
Worked
I
for
guess
2 days, so it'll go by fast.
well, all right, then let's jump back to what we were talking about earlier. So I am imagining, and you can tell me if this is right, but your transformation, you've been going through it for, if I want to say like within my year, you are like a year ahead of me, like in my mind. So to know where you're at now in this transitioning to your mindset and practicing it daily, how are you successfully doing it, at this point in time, that you haven't given up, thrown in the towel, or just like reverted to old habits?
Um, I think a lot of it helps too as you tell your story more and more. Like people that I meet, I like to relate with and, let them know it's one thing to say, yeah, I've been through that. It's going to get better. It's going to be better. But if you can share some of those rough times with them or like show them a picture, that also helps me like continue. The more you share your story, because as you share your story, other people are inspired to keep going. So when I know that I'm down, I will make sure that I'm connecting with someone once a day at least.
That's great advice. And I think it and I know that, like I do. I have that internal knowing that I do need to reach out sometimes. Okay. And so sometimes, like, the other day I reached out to a friend who I know is hurting and could use help. And I was kind of like, hey, I'm off today. I have some chunk of time. Do you want to get together? And it was like, no. And I was, in me, in my position in the relationship, I'm always the one looking to help and provide support. But I was kind of crying to myself, like, gosh, why can't somebody else just like know this? But I guess, a day later, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, well, I could tell her, like, hey, I could really need, some time to get some one on one with you. But then it seems selfish, like, and uh,
Yeah, I'm guilty of that, especially in the industry that I'm in, the times that we're in. We give, 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 and you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable saying, hey, today's a shitty day, or could you lift my spirits up, or even to yourself saying, hey, today's a rough day, but you're gonna get through it.
yeah, you got to have these dark days. I know.
Like the other day I came home from work. It was just a crazy, crazy day. And my car standing staring at the garage. I was like, oh, that was an interesting day. I don't know if I want to cry or laugh or if I'm coming or going or what the deal is. But then, like, before I got out of my car, I was like, even though the day there's really a rough spots, I got to also help people that if it wasn't for me specifically, they wouldn't be able to feel. feel that. So then I'm like, okay, Jenna, remember, you have a gift that other people don't have. Tomorrow's a new day. What are you gonna do for the rest of the night to make it fun? I have a hard transition time. I can pivot at work really easy. At home, I struggle pivoting
Why do you think that's the case?
because I think it's because at work I'm like, if I say I'm gonna do it at work, I know that I am because you're held at a different expectation than at home. Where at home, I'm everything. I sometimes don't have teamwork here at home to make things like structured and have a plan laid out to follow through with. Where at work, we can come up with a plan, implement it. If it's not working, pivot as a team, which is, I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. It really does resonate. And I know you and I could talk for like a just long time because a lot of what I've been working on is trying to be my best self in the last year, and showing up, one, embracing who I am. Yes. Yes, I love that.
One of these. I did this at the first I am retreat that I did.
Okay.
And then just have other reminders of like around. Like I have a bucket of quotes and flowers in the morning. So I have dehydrated flowers. So I get flowers every day and I pick a quote out. Like today is friends are family, we choose for ourselves. I could just have fun things for myself. We got to date ourselves, right? And spoil ourselves, they say.
Yes, I love that. I love the flower. And I have flowers. I have the dried stuff too. Um, but I love how you have the whole thought that I get flowers every day. Like I do them as decoration and like, yeah, I love them. They liven up the place. But I've never thought about it in that way. JL, that's so sweet on you.
You got, I mean, it's like Shell and I connected one time and she's like, Jenna, one day I realized nobody's coming to help me. It's me. And that's so true because like I've been, attempting to get back into like movement and fitness to the level that I want. And I'm like, oh, I can't perform at that level, so I'm not going to do it. So then I'm like, well, nobody's going to come save me. I got to start over at day one, like I've been walking and stuff, but I haven't been lifting. So it's like, okay, nobody's going to save you. You got to do it for yourself. And if you want to get stronger where you were, you got to continue to practice and do it that way.
Right? Yeah, it's I'm gonna say amazing, magical, but yeah, that statement that I picked that up from Shelly too. With I think it was her growth hour that I experienced over a year ago. That really hit. Like no one
And I
else.
think it was actually this week last year that I heard it come out of her mouth.
Okay, and it's so true. Sometimes I really do sit in it, thinking about how I could say, well, I lean on people and, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you're the one that's driving, like
But in reality too, like as much as we want someone to come do it, the kind of person that I am, I don't, because I'm so quirky and like just myself that if somebody else did it for me, it wouldn't be enjoyable. So you have to take the long way, the detour.
Yes, I definitely get the detour. Hey, I didn't realize Stephanie's on here with us. Good morning, Stephanie. Hey, I'm so sorry. It's been JL and I didn't even look at the chat. So
I just popped in.
I love that. It's good to see you. And what can we celebrate with you?
Oh, I will celebrate being here this morning, filling in for Terry.
All right. That's right, because she's at the Polka Dot event.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Well, this is great. Big treat. Well, and I'm going to start handing this over to you because it's 8 o'clock.
Yes.
8 o'clock, right?
All right. It's really what, 6 o'clock by you?
Yep.
All right. I'm going. you think I have a week off, some time off, and now I lose my whole. Okay, whoa.
You got this.
Let me
got
hit